Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. It's 7 o'clock now, so we will start our class with the starting prayers. Can I request the ST to give me an ID for the starting prayer?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
N8314.
N8314. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Can you recite the starting prayer for everyone? Starting with tawils. N8314.
I got muted.
Okay, and that's fine. Can you recite the starting prayers, starting
Okay.
with tawils?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي إني لما أنزلت إلي من خير فقير. My Lord, I am in need of whatever good thou mayest send down to me. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. Our Lord, accept this from us, for you are all hearing, all knowing.
Jazakumullah, N8314. Now I would like to request the teaching assistant if she can go over the class etiquettes. Assalamu alaikum.
So before the lesson, please perform wuzu and cover your head and revise your lesson and sit with an adult in a quiet room. Keep your audio and video off and log in with your correct ID. And during the lesson, please listen attentively to the class and recite the verses alongside the online recitation. And please do not raise your hand unless you are requested to. After the lesson, please revise your lesson and complete your assigned homework. For contact, you've got info@nqc.org.uk, and please be reminded that these classes offer additional support to learning, and they are not a replacement for one-to-one learning at home.
Jazakallah. So those of you who arrived early, you would already know that this lesson is another revision lesson. So, which means that today the teachers will try to listen to as many students as possible. So I hope that a lot of you have memorized some new verses and surahs. I will start the breakout room where the teaching assistant will listen to the assigned students, and I would like to request all the students who received the invitation for the breakout room to click on accept and join the breakout room, and do not leave the breakout room until the TA asks you that you can leave. So okay, so now I will ask the ST again to give me an ID.
Okay.
Start.
I'll give you A7306.
A7306.
something wrong with the mic? I don't know.
Okay.
Can't do the unmute. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. A7306. Assalamu alaikum. So please, I think there is a technical problem with your microphone. So if you want to recite your hifz later, then please try to fix the problem. We will pick another student.
Okay. It's A7308. And he is going to recite Surah Al-Qadr.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Have you memorized Surah Al-Qadr completely?
Yes.
Okay. So you can start reciting. Start with Tawuz.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من ألف شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر.
Okay. A7308, Jazakallah. In the last verse, there is no who. Hiya hatta. Okay, let me go to the. Okay, so here, as you can see on the screen, it's just hiya hatta. So in terms of memorization, that was one mistake. So please try to correct that mistake. And one more mistake here. On ha, we don't have a fatha, but you said shahr. So make sure that you say shahr. Okay?
Okay.
So can you recite this verse again? Verse 4.
ليلة القدر خير من ألف شهر.
Okay, that was much better. So keep practicing and inshallah it will get better. Another mistake in terms of pronunciation. In verse 5, I have highlighted the letter. Do you know what mistake you made?
Did I forget to perform Nun Gunna?
No. You have to apply the rule of ikhfa here. Do you know what you have to do for that?
Do I have to go like min kulli amr?
Yeah, and which means you have to conceal the sound of noon.
Yeah.
Okay. And I will ask you to recite verse 3 again.
Okay. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ.
Okay. So that was much better. I just wanted to see if you apply the rule of qalqala properly, because I could hear it in some places you applied it, in others it wasn't obvious. So that's why. And you also prolonged this just fine. But when you were reciting off by heart, you recited it really quickly and didn't prolong it for 3 seconds. So work on that as well.
Okay.
All right. Jazakallah, A7308. Can I ask the ST for the next student?
Yes, next student is going to be N8308. So,
8308.
I think she's not in the class. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
N8316.
And 8316. Assalamu alaikum. And 8316. Okay.
She is in the class. I don't
Yeah.
know.
She's unmuted,
Yes, she
but
is.
there is no response.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you another one. N8320.
Okay. I can't see her
No.
in the class.
N8321.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
She's going to recite Surah Al-Ghashiyah, verse 12.
Okay. And 8321, have you memorized the next few verses of Surah Al-Ghashiyah?
No.
Okay. Let's see if you still remember the verses you memorized previously. Okay.
Okay.
So if I ask you to recite from verse 9, it's on the screen, and then go all the way up to verse 12.
Lisa.
Let me go back. It starts with Wujuhun Yawma. Okay?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وجوه يومئذ ناعمة لسعيها راضية في جنات عالية لا تسمع فيها لاغية.
Okay. And 8321, Jazakillah. So, in terms of pronunciation, in verse 12, make sure that you make the sound of ha at the end of the verse. Okay? When you're making a pause, the sound of ha should be clear. Okay? Can you recite this verse again?
Okay. لا تسمع فيها لاغية.
Lagiyah.
لاغية.
All right, that was much better. And in verse 11, I have highlighted this letter. Do you know what mistake you made?
I forgot to do Nun Gunna.
Yeah, that's right. So you have to make nasal sound, but also you prolong this too much. So don't say Jannah, because it seems like there is a vertical fatha here. But make sure that you make the nasal sound for 2 seconds. So Jannah. Okay?
Okay.
Can you recite this verse again?
في جنات عالية.
Okay, again, don't prolong it like Jannah. Okay? So recite with me. Fi jannatin.
في جنة.
Okay, that was much better. Now, if you can recite verse 13 and 14, the next two verses, and then if you can try to recite them, try to memorize them over the weekend so that you can recite them next week, inshallah. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Do I read it?
Yeah, recite it.
فيها عين جارية
Jariyah.
جارية فيها سرور مرفوعة.
Okay, that was, you recited really well. So I would like to request you to give it a try and try to memorize the next few verses, okay?
Okay.
Jazakillah. And 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Then we have
Can
the
I
next.
give the next student? A7306.
Okay. A7306.
Can't unmute him. I'll give you another one.
Yeah, I have also tried to unmute A7306, but I think A7306, there is a technical problem with your microphone as well. So please try to fix it so that we can listen to your hifz.
Okay, we can have A7309.
A7309.
And I can't do unmuting as well. I don't know why.
A7309.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
He's going to recite Surat Ad-Duha.
Okay. A7309.
Yeah.
Have you started memorizing Surah Ad-Duha?
What?
Have you started memorizing Surah Ad-Duha?
Yeah.
I think he's done verse 11.
Okay.
Up to verse 11.
So have you memorized the last verse?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would like to ask you to recite from verse 9, if that's okay.
Yeah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث.
Okay, A7309. Jazakallah. So you have memorized the complete surah now, and you have memorized really well. In terms of pronunciation, I will point out a few mistakes. Okay. So first of all, in verse 10, I have highlighted this letter. Can you tell me what mistake you could have made?
I don't know. Maybe not read it heavily.
Okay. You have to perform qalqala here because this qaf, it's part of the letters of qalqala, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what you have to do for this rule?
Like reading a heavy voice.
No, you have to make a jerking sound. So instead of taqhar, taqhar. Can you hear the difference?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you recite this verse again?
فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر.
Okay, again. Taqhar, taqhar. Can you try?
فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر.
Okay, that was much better. Jazakallah. I think apart from that, you recited really well. So, well done. Can we have the next student?
Yes, I think and sorry, N8303 is here, I think. So I can try again to unmute her.
Okay.
No, I can't do it. Sorry. I'll give you N8314.
Okay, N8314.
And she's going to recite Surah Al-Duha, verse 4.
Okay. N8314. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Have you memorized the next few verses of Surah Al-Duha?
Yeah, but it's only like another 2 or 3.
Okay, so up to verse 6. It's on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So can you start reciting from the beginning and go all the way up to verse 6?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى.
All right.
ولسوف يؤتيك ربك فترضى. I think that's all I know.
All right. That was up to verse 6. So let's go to the surah. So first of all, well done for memorizing the next 2 verses. In terms of memorization, it was really good. You just forgot, I think, the first verse, the first word of verse 6, or how the verse starts. So if you keep revising, that should get better. In terms of pronunciation, in verse 5, here you prolong the qaf with the fatha a little more than it should be. Okay, so it only needs to be prolonged for 1 second count or beat, no longer than that. So can you recite this verse again?
وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى.
Okay, That was much better. And in verse 4, I have highlighted the letter. Do you know what mistake you made?
Does this sound have to like come from your throat?
Yeah, so it's a similar sounding letter to alif, and we have to differentiate between the sound of alif and ain. And to do that, the sound of ain, it comes from the middle of the throat. So can you recite this verse again? And this time, if you can differentiate the sound.
ما ودأك wait no ما ودأك ربك وما قلى.
Okay, so ma wadda'aka. Did you hear how I pronounced it?
Yeah.
So can you give it a try again?
ما ودأك ربك وما قلى.
Okay, just keep trying and it should get better, okay? And one last mistake. Here I have highlighted another letter which is a similar sounding letter to za, but we have to differentiate between the sounds. Do you know how you pronounce this letter?
Is it إذا?
Yeah, so zal, it has a vibrating sound, whereas za, it just, if we compare it to English alphabet, it has a sound, it sounds like Z. But zal, which is this one here, has a vibrating sound. Okay? So, وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى. Can you recite it? Can you give it a try?
والليل إذا سجى.
Okay. So again, keep practicing and it should get better, inshallah. All right. NA314, Jazakillah.
Jazakallah.
Can we have the next student?
Yes, next student is going to be A7324.
A7324. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum. Hello.
And
He is on Surat Al-Ala, verse 4.
okay. A7324.
Yeah.
Have you memorized the next few verses of Surah Al-Ala?
No, not yet.
Okay. Let me go to the.
I can read it though.
So last time, I think even last time you had memorized up to verse 4 and you recited the next two verses. So
Wait, did you say the next two verses I need to like memorize?
this is a Hifz course, so yes, you have to try and memorize everything that has been taught.
Because I think it wasn't the same. I think the teacher said that next time I hear it from you, you need to do 2 more verses.
You need to memorize all the surahs that have been covered in this course. So today we can just do a revision. You can recite the 4 verses.
I can do 2 more.
Can you do them by heart?
Yeah.
Okay. So start with Tawus and then from verse 1 to verse 6.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله
وَجَعَلَهُ.
أوسى أهوى.
Okay, that all right. So that was up to verse 6. Well done for memorizing the next two verses. In terms of memorization, it was really good. I will highlight a few mistakes which you made in terms of pronunciation.
Oh.
So first of all, in verse 6, I corrected you as well. And now I have highlighted the letter. Can you tell me what mistake you made?
I think I made the ain sound too like long.
Yeah, that's right. So please make sure that next time when you recite, you have corrected this mistake, and also try to memorize the next few verses as well for the next lesson.
Okay.
And in verse 4, okay, so ASAN 3 to 4, there was a lot of background noise coming. So I would like you to just listen now to the mistakes which I will point out and correct them. So in verse 4, qaddara, on both dal and ra, we have the fatha stroke and qaf as well. So each of these letters, give them 1 second each. Okay, you prolonged the ra too much. So, and lastly, in verse 3, make sure that you differentiate between the sound of this qaf and this kaf here. Okay, so this qaf, the one with 2 dots, we know that we have to let me unmute you. Okay, so
Yeah,
now
hello.
I would like you to recite this verse again. Verse 3.
Is it خدر فهذا?
الذي.
Oh, okay. الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى.
Okay, so again, this qaf that I have highlighted, make sure you differentiate between this qaf and this kaf. Can you hear the sound? Can you hear the way I'm pronouncing? So this one,
الذي خلق فسوى.
خلق.
الذي خلق فسوى.
Okay, that was much better. So keep on revising and practicing, and inshallah it will get better. And also try to memorize the next few verses as well. All right, can we have the next student?
Okay. N8318.
N8318.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
And she's going to recite Surah Al-A'la, and she memorized up to verse 5.
Okay.
I haven't memorized any more.
Okay. Can you recite verse 3 and verse 4 off by heart? And 5 if you have.
Yes, I have. Where does it start from?
Okay. So you can start from the beginning, from the very first verse, and go all the way up to the verse, up to where you have memorized.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرأة.
Okay. So that was up to verse 5. Let me go back to the surah. So before I highlight or point out towards any of the mistakes, I would like to ask you a question. You see the first verse highlighted in green. Do you know? I know that the other teachers have mentioned this as well. So I just want to see if anyone remembers how to respond to this verse. So there is a specific Arabic phrase which we use to respond to this verse. Do you know?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay, that's fine. So I would like to ask all the students, if anyone knows, you can raise your hand. Okay. A7301. A7301, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
So you have raised your hand. Do you know what the phrase is?
Do you say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la?
Yes. A7301. Well done. And all those as well who raised your hand. So as you can see here, this is the phrase which we have to say when we hear the verse, the first verse of the surah, or when we come across the verse while reading the Quran. This is the phrase which we have to say as a response. And it means, Holy is my Lord, the Most High. So it's a good habit to respond to certain verses with the specific phrase. And it was the habit of Holy Prophet ﷺ and his companions to respond to these verses with these specific phrases. So it is also sunnat. So make sure and also try to memorize these phrases. So now we'll go back to N8318. So N8318, I will highlight a few mistakes now. First of all, so I have highlighted these letters. Do you know what mistake you made?
Did I not do a jerking sound?
Okay, so you don't have to do the jerking sound, which you have to do for letters of qalqala. You don't have to do that here. You were pronouncing. Okay, can you recite this verse again?
الذي خلق فسوى.
Okay, so you are reciting this as the, but this is zal, so we have to make the sound alladhi. Can you hear the difference?
Yes.
Okay, can you try and recite it again?
الذي خلق فسوى.
Okay, so keep on trying and practicing over and over again. It should get better. And one more thing, the sound of this letter, ha, I can't hear it clearly. So can you recite this verse again and make sure that you pronounce it clearly this time?
الذي خلق فسوى.
Okay, that was much better. And lastly, this letter, I mentioned to the previous student as well that we have to differentiate between the sound of ain and alif. So can you recite verse 5 again? And the letters I have highlighted, make sure to try and pronounce them correctly.
والذي أخرج المرأة.
Okay, that was much better. You just need to try the zal, practice zal the sound of zal more. And the other ones, I can already hear that you have improved. So well done. And also try to memorize the next few verses as well before the next lesson. Okay, Jazakallah, and 8318.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
I'll give you another student.
Yes,
87301.
A7301.
And he memorized Surat Al-Ghashiyah, verse 14 to verse 14.
A7301. Assalamu alaikum. Okay. There is no response.
Yeah.
So if we can try and
He put his hand up as well. I don't know where he's gone. I'll give you another student then.
okay.
A7321.
A7321.
And he has done quite a few surahs, number 87, 88, 91, 94, 97. So,
Okay. Let me assign some more students to the breakout room first.
okay.
Okay, just a minute. Okay. So, did you say A7321?
Yes,
Is he unmute?
he was, yes.
Okay, A7321. Assalamu alaikum.
I'll give you another student. And 8311.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. And 8311.
He has done Surat Al-Ghashiyah and she's done Surat Ad-Duha up to verse 5.
Okay. And 8311.
I think I haven't recited the end part of Surah Ghashiyah yet.
Okay. And have you completed Surah Duha?
Not yet.
Okay. So let's listen to Surah Al-Ghashiyah first. Give me a second.
I before I revised it up, I memorized up to verse 22. Now I've remembered the rest.
Okay. So previously, you memorized.
Up to verse 20. I've done all of it now.
Yeah. So you completed Surah Al-Ghashiyah. Have you done the next few verses of Surah Duha? You did previously. You did up to verse 5.
Not yet.
Okay, that's fine. So we can go to Surah Al-Ghashiyah, and I will ask you to recite the last 5 verses. It's on the screen, starting with Illa, and then you can go all the way up to the end, okay?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إلا من تولى وكفر إنا إلينا
Okay. For you.
إيابهم.
Okay. So you recited the first verse correctly. After that, the next verse starts with فَيُعَذِّبُهُ اللَّهُ.
Okay. فيعذبه الله العذاب الأكبر إنا إلينا إيابهم ثم إنا علينا حسابهم.
Okay. And 8311. Jazakillah. So let me go back to the surah. So you recited the 4 verses correctly in terms of memorization. I will highlight a few mistakes which you made regarding the pronunciation. So first of all, in verse 24.
Okay.
I have highlighted this letter. Do you know what mistake you could have made?
Was I supposed to do 5?
Sorry, I didn't hear that correctly. Can you repeat that?
Was I supposed to do 5?
Yeah, so you were supposed to apply the rule of ikhfa, which means to conceal the sound of noon. So do you know how to do that?
No.
Yeah, so can you recite this verse again?
إلا من تولى وكفر.
Okay, and make sure that you prolong this tawalla for 2 seconds, okay? Because on top of lam, we have the vertical fatha, and vertical fatha is supposed to be prolonged for 2 seconds, okay?
Okay.
The next mistake here, in verse 25, I've highlighted the word Allah, and again, I will ask you, do you know what mistake you made?
Was I supposed to do the other rule?
Yeah, you are supposed to make the lam in the word Allah thick. And it's because the previous letter is carrying a dhamma stroke. Okay? So, if the previous letter carries a fatha stroke or a dhamma stroke, we are supposed to make a thick sound for the lam. So, can you recite this verse again?
فيعذبه الله العذاب الأكبر.
Okay, that was much better. And lastly, in verse 26, can you recite the verse again?
إن إلينا إيابهم.
Okay, so ilayna, we have on top of alif, we have madde saghir, the smaller one. And do you know how long we have to prolong that for?
For 4 seconds.
For 3 seconds minimum. Okay, so recite this again slowly and make sure that you prolong it for its required time.
إن إلينا إيابهم.
Okay, that was much better. Keep practicing again and again, and it should get better. So now I will ask another question, and this is to all the students. This verse highlighted in green. Again, there is a phrase which we are supposed to say in response to this verse when we hear this. So, N8311, do you know what that phrase is?
No.
Okay, that's fine. So, can I ask the students to raise your hand if you know which phrase? Okay. N8346. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Do you know which phrase it is?
I only know the translation of it.
Okay, you can tell me the translation.
Is it, oh Allah, call us to an easy account?
Can you say that again?
Is it, oh Allah, call us to an easy account?
Yes. So that's right. That is the translation of the phrase. And this is the phrase. Allahumma hasibna hisaban yasira. So again, I would like to request all the students to try and memorize these phrases so that if you hear someone reciting this surah and reciting this verse, you can respond to it. Okay? All right. So N8311, Jazakillah. I would like to request you to memorize the next few verses of Surah Duha because you have started memorizing it. So you just need to finish it now, okay? Jazakillah. Can we have the next student?
We call A7301.
Okay.
And he memorized Surah Al-Ghashiyah up to verse 14.
A7301. Assalamu alaikum. A7301. Okay. We don't.
I think he's here.
Yeah, I could hear some noise, but there wasn't a response. A7301. Okay. Can we try another student?
N8309.
Okay. I can't see her in the lesson.
She's not in the lesson. Okay, can we take the breakout room one children as well or no? Can we try N8312? 312. She's not here as well, sorry. A7317.
Okay, A7317.
No, he's not here as well.
Yes.
A7309. He has been.
Okay. We only have time for one more student, so
okay, I'll try the last one, A7310, and just let's see if no, he's not in the class as well.
yes.
Okay.
Can I request the students, if you didn't get a try to recite, but you have memorized something new, okay, we can choose a student from these.
Okay. A7341.
Okay. A7341. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. So previously, A7341,
Yes.
you have memorized and recited up to, you have completed Surah Teen. So have you started memorizing Surah Al-Qadr?
Yes, I've learned all of it.
Okay, that's very good. So can you start reciting it? Starting with Tawuz.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من الألف شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر.
Okay. Make sure to prolong hatta for 2 seconds because we have vertical fatha. So let me go back. So in the last verse, make sure to prolong hatta for 2 seconds, okay? Because we have vertical fatha.
Okay.
And make sure to pause here. You see this sign here, right? Qafa,
Yes.
which is for waqf. So, and when you take a pause, it will be salam. Okay?
Okay.
And in verse 5, again, you said amrin, but then you stopped. So if you're going to stop, make sure you say amr. Okay?
Okay.
All right. In verse 4, again, I mentioned to one of the previous students as well, this is not shahr, shahr. Okay, because on top of ha, we don't have a fatha. So can you recite from here, this verse?
خير من الألف شهر.
Okay, that was much better. So keep trying and it will, inshallah, get better.
Inshallah.
Yeah, and lastly, make sure to prolong these letters, which I'm highlighting now, for minimum 3 seconds.
Yes.
And recite slowly as well so that you can recite each word and each letter properly, okay?
Okay.
So, Jazakallah is 7341.
Jazakallah.
So now we are going to move towards the conclusion of our class. First of all, as for the homework, now we have covered all of these chapters. So, chapter 1, chapter 87, 88, 91, 93, and 95, 94, and 95. If you have memorized these, then keep revising them. If you haven't memorized them yet, then surah you are on right now, try to finish that surah. Then move on to the next one. Okay? And you will also, inshallah, have another Hifz test. So for that Hifz test, I will request all the students to revise these words. And if you haven't memorized,
Sorry, Assalamu alaikum. The
Walaikum
voice is
assalam.
breaking. Your voice is breaking.
Okay. All right. Jazakillah. So, as I was saying, if you haven't memorized a chapter from these chapters which we have taught over the past few weeks, then try to memorize that chapter. And if you have memorized them, then keep revising because inshallah you will have another Hifz test. And I will like to request all the students to finish the surah which you are on so that you can move on to the next one. And that's it for the homework. Can we have a student for the ending prayer?
Okay. N8334.
N8334.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Can you recite this ending prayer for everyone?
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. O Allah, accept this effort and service from us, for you are the most hearing, the most knowing.
All right. Jazakillah N8334 and Jazakumullah to all of you who have attended today's class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.